is Arann Maguire and I am 33.
My name is Brian Manning and I'm 29 years of age.
Jack Maguire and I'm 29.
So I'm Paul Buckley and 26.
Before COVID, like 2018 or like long before, yeah.
Thomas Figueroa in the Cork show in St. Finbarr's Club, and I won that decision 30-27.
My last fight was Paddy's Day in Tenerife.
My last fight was December 2023.
12 or 13 fights maybe.
I'd say I'm around maybe 20 fights maybe. Maybe 18, somewhere between 18 and 20, that's my guess. I think I'm 19 fights? 19 fights altogether, I'm sure. In and around there. Start again, because I think I have the answers now to those first three questions.
One of them was your name.
My name is Jack Maguire.
9 amateur fights, and that was my first pro fight. Haven't fought since because of injury at all.
2000, well actually 2007 first, but it was like an underground crazy like fight dojo kind of thing that just wasn't really MMA. It was just me and a load of like grown men just fighting in like the back arses somewhere. So I did that and then trained there for a year, left, and then came back properly in like 2009.
I done a few PTs with John Mitchell leading up, but really I probably started MMA around November 2020.
I'd say it was about 10 years ago now, yeah. I was just after 2019, yeah.
It was either the very end of 2017 or the very start of 2018. It was because I probably started like, you know yourself, 2-3 days a week, and then eventually did more and more. So I think started 2018.
Featherweight initially, and then I did a few with like bantamweight, super bantamweight as well. I didn't know how to cut weight and stuff like that, so I was leaving myself having to cut a bit more than I needed to and doing it all wrong. There was no, the way it was now, that just didn't exist at all. So I used to have to cut a lot of weight.
What was the most you ever had to cut?
To be honest, I remember having to cut for the 2 times I did bantamweight, minimal. I only had to cut like a kg, literally. But I never got any nutritionist, I never got anybody to help with it. So I was essentially just starving myself.
Middleweight, 185 pounds. So day before, day off, doesn't matter. So I'll always stay the same way. I'll probably cut now around 9-10 pounds maybe. Maybe 12, 10, between 10-12 pounds for this fight day before.
That's a touchy subject because if I'm in a good mood I'll fight at bantamweight, and if I'm loving the chocolate I'll fight at featherweight, so it's a touchy subject and not much people like me for it, especially Barry. I'd probably cut maybe about 5 or 6 kg would be what I'd cut. The rest is just getting all the extra chocolate and cake weight off. That's just normal dieting. So cutting about 5 or 6.
For amateur, it was always middleweight same day, and I'll do welterweight the day before now. I try not to go too far above like 86, 87. I'm probably like 88, 89 at the moment, which is heavier than I'd like to be, but usually I try to be like 86, 87, just cutting like 10 kg.
Oh, every day, multiple times in the day if you're good. Like when you're 16, 17, you can train 5 times a day if you want. Like.
So you were hooked straight away?
Completely. I was hooked before I even started. There used to be like MMA on a TV channel called Bravo, and I just used to watch those free things, and then I was like, yeah, I'm doing this and only this forever.
I remember I was still boxing at the time, so I was boxing training, and then I was trying to do MMA, I was trying to mix them both, so I was going boxing in the evening, I would have done a midday, I would have done a jiu-jitsu in between, I would have done 3 a day nearly, or 1 in between. And I didn't slow down, I still train twice a day now, but before I was probably doing too much. I was trying to play catch up because I started so late. I started at 25 years of age, you know, now I'm 29, so I was trying to catch up with the rest of them, which I did.
At the start I was training 3 days a week with MMA, and then I was doing 6 other sessions of jiu-jitsu as well. I started training heavy straight away. I was off. I was in the summer season of soccer. I played soccer before, and then I just tried to do MMA 3 days a week to keep fit, and then I just did 3 sessions one week, and then I did jiu-jitsu the following week, and then I just kept doing jiu-jitsu and kept doing MMA, and then I just never went back into soccer. So
It was a long summer.
long summer, yeah.
Well, I think it was like probably 3 or 4 days a week, and then I because I was still playing rugby at the time, and then I was kind of getting more into it. So like, it did feel like I went pretty full on pretty quick, but I think I started probably 3-4 days. Now it's like pretty much almost every day, I'd say.
No, I actually had tunnel vision before I'd even got in there, and yeah, never changed.
So I was always fighting. Do you know, I remember, I guess I was in school, do you know, in primary school, secondary school for fighting, but I never got into it. But it's something I always wanted to do, it's something I always had in mind. I was kind of back in the bollocks before, and so I didn't really get going with MMA till later, till my mid-20s, you know. But it was something I always liked. I always liked fighting. I was a knife for fights.
No, I just decided on a whim. Just did a jiu-jitsu competition very soon after I started, just because I was asked that I want to do it, and then did a novice MMA one without even thinking about it, all trying to keep fit for the summer. But just it escalated quite quickly.
I feel like I always kind of wanted to compete one way or the other, but I didn't know I'd be going pro, and I didn't know it would kind of go as far as it did. Training with the other guys in the gym that were pro, like the more you kind of train with them, the more you think you'd be possible and stuff. Also then like when you fight kind of better amateurs, fight at like kind of a higher level, when you fight like high level amateur, you kind of think, okay, that's the next step. So I can't remember exactly, but I'd say after the IMAS especially, I was kind of like, I could definitely go pro now.
So you just kind of took it as it came?
Exactly, yeah. I took it as it came, and then when I kind of went to the IMAS, did well enough with that, I kind of thought like if I can compete at this level, I could think I could beat a pro.
Hurling and soccer. I did Gaelic football as well.
Do you think any skills passed over or lended itself?
I think just that when you play sport in general, just the mindset of you have to train and just you're constantly staying in shape and stuff, no matter what the sport. So, you know, I know some sports might help a bit more, maybe, but I think just the general idea of doing something will be transferable.
I did every sport, nearly every sport: soccer, football, hurling, rugby.
Is there
tennis? No, they tend to some as well.
Badminton. Can it lend itself to MMA or no?
100% from the physical aspect of things, being athletic and stuff. And so rugby's a tough old game. You know, playing GA, it's physical contact sports, you know.
I did loads of sports growing up, but none of them were good for MMA. They were all ball sports, and maybe I was just competitive, but no matter what sport I played, I'd be competitive.
Before this, you said you did rugby.
Yeah.
Do you think it lended itself to MMA at all?
It definitely did, even because I played at a highish level of rugby as well, so like for pressure and stuff I kind of could deal with it some bit. The physicality and stuff obviously. But in ways then it kind of, I think other sports can kind of make bad habits that are harder to get rid of, as if like you were starting from scratch. I think for shoots and stuff, like you probably rep out like a shit shoot like thousands of times playing rugby, so there's a few small things I have to correct, but at the same time you're more used to like going for it than someone who maybe didn't do that.
Like a year, because I was out for a year. I had the shoulder kind of injury, but it wasn't much of an injury. I think maybe it would have been 2012 that I actually had my first fight, off the top of my head, or the end of 2011, so roughly 2 years.
What was your first fight like? Amateur fight?
It was crazy. I had never seen a cage before. I had never ever witnessed like an event or anything. And pretty much you just do jiu-jitsu, went down, did some Thai pads in a Thai boxing gym, and then just hopped into a cage. And I got a guillotine, thankfully. I got a standing guillotine in like the first 30 seconds. And then I proceeded to probably hyperventilate for the next like 4 minutes and feel like I was going to collapse with exhaustion. So I was clearly terrified. Thank God I got an early finish, because I'd say if I'd have gone a minute longer, I'd have probably lost.
It was only 30 seconds.
I was so nervous. I'd never seen any. It's like the way it was before. Now they do all the novice competitions. We have a cage in the gym. They're always in there. They're so much better now. But I was useless and hadn't a clue. So I was terrified.
think it was like March 22 maybe, so about a year and a half I think. Yeah, a year and a half, bang on. Around a year and a half to my first amateur fight at the Nationals. Won one and the last one. I felt brilliant my first fight. I felt great, I felt fit. Everything went to plan, but then the next day at the Nationals everything went to shit. But it was all a learning curve. It made me into the fight I am now. So you gotta lose to rise, you know? You need failure.
I was training about, I'd say, a year and a half before I made my first amateur fight. Yeah. I don't remember a thing. I remember I was a nervous wreck. I tried to lock myself into the room so Arann couldn't bring me to the fight. And it was local, so everyone I knew was going to be there, but I don't remember what happened. I just remember it being finished within 90 seconds, and I can't remember how I won. I think it was ground and pound, but I was vomiting after because I was so nervous and stressed. But yeah, it finished quickly, thank God, but I've no idea how I got there in the end.
And still after vomiting and being so stressed, you decided to do another one?
Yeah, I went straight in like maybe 10 weeks later and made my second fight, and same again, nervous wreck, wanted to lock myself into the room, wanted to go back playing soccer.
I think it was, so I think I started at the start of like 2018, and I fought, my first fight was December 2018, but then I didn't fight again after that because since I went in Erasmus after that and there was COVID after that, there was probably like 2 or 3 years I didn't fight, so 2018 was my first one, but I didn't fight again until about, what could have been 2019, 2020 after that. The first fight I lost, it was a good fight, it was really good opponent. I think that like, I don't know, it's hard to say kind of what went wrong and stuff. I think I actually performed well enough for a debut, but he was very good as well. Enjoyed it, it was a really good experience, probably the best experience out of any fight I've had. But yeah, it was kind of an annoying one as well because I was sitting on the last for a long time after that as well. The first one was definitely by far the most nervous because it was like, I think it was like kind of a complete panic at the start, so I think the first round especially got away from me so much, and that was probably a lot down to like just the occasion and kind of panicking a bit, doing stupid stuff. Every fight since then has kind of just been like not even half as bad, so it's kind of strange like going out to fight sometimes not even really feeling nervous at all, compared to one stage it was like mad, like an out of body experience almost or something.
6. Yeah, and it took a while, like, which isn't that much anymore, but it took a while because there wasn't as much events. There's so many events now. You could have 2 a month.
10 MMA amateur fights. I plan having a hell of a lot more at pro. I think I'm brilliant. I think one of the best amateur careers of all time. One of the best amateur careers, 2 belts, had 4 title fights in like the space of 6 months, won 3 of them. Walking out was fucking Michael Myers and Jigsaw and Joker. No one else made waves the world made waves in the amateur scene. No one.
I think 15 amateur fights. I think 15. I really should have. I really should know all this. I've always been quite happy with my amateur career. My biggest thing looking back at my amateur career was I was very guilty of. After my first 3 or 4 fights, I was almost too relaxed. I used to go into fights and not take them very seriously, but just get in there for the crack, like, and I've definitely lost fights for not going for it too much, but it was a good laugh anyway.
Were you not #1 in UK and Ireland at some stage?
I was, yeah, I was #1 in UK and Ireland, featherweight, I think, yeah, and that was a good, I remember when those rankings came out, actually I was with all my buddies and they told me that you're actually #1 at the moment. That was a good laugh.
9 amateur fights, I think. Yeah, 9. Went well, like it was, like I said, I think losing the first one was actually almost like the best thing that could happen to me, because it made me, especially during times like COVID when we couldn't train, it kind of made me like really hungry, really wanting to get back in, train super hard when it was probably hard to be motivated and stuff. And then after that it went really well. Only lost 1 fight after that, and that was in the World Championships, and he went on to win it, so it was, I think, went well.
I would train the same. I wouldn't change. I don't think, like, if you're only going to train when you have a fight booked, you're always going to be in an uphill battle there too. You're going to be trying to get fit as well rather than get better. So I'd train always throughout the year, even if I'm not fighting.
10 to 12 times a week. So 10, maybe 10, 11 sessions a week.
Would your training differ a lot, like when you're just kind of maintaining or before a fight?
Maintaining, let's say. I'll probably do 6, 7 a week maybe, do you know? 6, 7 because then I try to enjoy life a little bit as well, maybe go on holiday or go away for a weekend or something. But like I still, my worst week is probably 6 sessions in a week. That could be other people's best week ever, do you know? But that's my worst week.
Before a fight, yeah, probably too much until this point where your body's about to break. But it's probably necessary to do that amount of training. But loads of training before fights. You need to, if you go in unprepared, it doesn't go well. And I've done it before. I've made the mistake of going in thinking I don't need to train as much, and you pay for it. So it's you definitely need to train properly. Anywhere between 10 and 13 sessions. Not all high intensity, but kind of recovery sessions, drilling sessions, hard sessions, strength conditioning. So all those kind of things, they add up. No, I try not to. My training in the gym stays the same. The classes are the same, the structure is the same. It's just the dieting, the losing the weight, the strength conditioning. You kind of taper off in one and add on a little bit in another, but it's the out of the gym training that you change for fight camps.
Try train just as much when I don't have something coming up. Like, I think I'm actually probably bad for not taking enough breaks and stuff. So it probably would change. It changes because I suppose the diet and stuff like that, and I suppose I could be more specific to your opponent, but I try to train the same amount whether I have something coming up or not.
There's not much of a difference, I think, especially the level, especially the later amateur fights. The level you're fighting at is not very different at all to amateur. You might have the elbows and stuff, and it's more of a thing where the elbows is kind of changes the game, where if you're cut and the blood pours into your eyes and things like that, knees to the head, longer rounds, but it's not much of a difference. The longer rounds probably need to be a bit more conditioned, I would think, even though the pace is different, but yeah, not much of a difference really in amateur pro.
The extracurricular and kind of off the, like, out of the gym, how serious you take it. Like, it's not enough to just come to the gym and do your training sessions and do the sparring, do the drilling. You have to sleep properly, you have to eat properly, you have to, you know, rest properly, look after your body. So it's all the extracurricular stuff that makes a huge difference, and they be the things that give you the edge in the fight, not actually your talent or your fitness or your skills. It's the extracurricular.
Of it and stuff. Like, it's amateur, it's actually probably just tiring because it's like 3 minutes full on, like you just have to go for it. Whereas like pros, like, I think if you fought that same pace, you gas too quick. So I think like probably just the pacing of it's the main thing, I think.
I did my ACL in Jiu-Jitsu. I was doing a cut knee through pass, and my opponent shifted his weight underneath and it just kind of clicked. So I had to get surgery on that.
Concussions, I'd say. Concussion. Just dealing with headaches and I was out for a year with a concussion because I couldn't train. But concussion was probably the worst.
How many concussions have you had?
I think through two fights. So not in 2 fights in a row, but at my amateur career, I had 2 fights where I got concussions involved. But that's not a bad ratio to 10, you know what I mean?
No.
The other fellas have plenty of concussions.
Way more.
I broke my lower orbital bone in my eye because my younger brother kicked me in the head, actually kneed me in the head. I still have a disc injury in my lower back. They're probably the 2 worst ones I've gotten.
So you touch you on, but your worst injury?
Worst injury, death in my hand, 100%. It's just like, it's still ongoing, so like hopefully it's sorted by the end of this year. I'd love to fight at least once before the end of this year. Break after at the very end of the pro fight, so like just as I was coming in to finish him, he went like this, then I hit like the top of his head, and it was just like half out of his skull, and I just felt the crunch and move. And I blame Jack as well because he told me to throw more punches, less elbows, so that's, if I just elbowed him instead, it would be grand.
Winning the belts. So there was an organisation called Battle Zone, and I won the bantamweight and the featherweight one, and I was delighted. Yeah.
My favourite fight memory of a couple of them, like there was the buzz of walking into Derrawar with the mask and having a face off of them, and then you just Paul walking the saw. But the one that has to stand out for me has to be double champ. Do you know, becoming the double champ, hammering my opponent 30-27 up in his own backyard. I went up to, where was it, Derry, and all the Derry crowd booed me and walking out as Michael Myers, mask on, and then winning that fight and getting the 2 belts around me. So that has to be the best fight memory for me.
One thing that just came to my mind there now was we were, myself, John Mitchell and Jack Monaghan, we were all on the same fight card over in Preston, and we fought against 3 lads, local lads in Preston. So we had gone over basically to get slaughtered by the local lads in their hometown, but we went over and we had a good old weekend of it, and we all had some great fights. But it was a good time at amateur. We all had to get a bit of hype, and we got it after that. It was great.
Pro debut, I loved that. That was probably it, I'd say. I think making a pro debut.
Except the hand part.
Except the hand part, exactly, yeah. But everything else besides that, it went perfect, I think.
I think just sussing out my opponent, so just what they're worst at, and I'll have no shame in exploiting that as well. I'm not this person that I want to beat them at what they're best at doing.
Yes, this and wrestling. My two, especially wall wrestling. No one's beaten me in wall wrestling. And boxing, wall wrestling. They're my two big things.
I'm probably most comfortable with jiu-jitsu, but that's because I've probably spent the most time doing jiu-jitsu. Now, saying that, I've never actually been in a situation in a fight where my jiu-jitsu has come into it, but I'm waiting, hoping that I get there eventually.
I think I'm kind of well-rounded enough. So like, I think that I definitely took the grappling first. My striking's improved a lot since, especially over the last year, because I couldn't really grapple as much. But I think, it's hard to say, I think I'm pretty well-rounded, so I think I took the grappling first, but since I kind of grown on striking the last year or two as well.
Flexibility. I have to eliminate 50% of moves because of flexibility, so yeah, it definitely is a weak point.
Nothing. No, look, I think everyone has little weaknesses in their game. I probably want to be able to kick a bit better, you know, but I still can do a lot, you know, so it's all good. Definitely
striking. Striking was definitely where I was least comfortable and less, I didn't have a natural ability for striking, so I've had to work a lot on striking in fights. Now I've used my striking in fights a lot more recently, so I'm getting there.
I think you can always work at everything. I don't think there's anything I'm really bad at though.
Just everyone's very nice. If you come in as a new member, everyone's going to be like smiling, saying hello. If you're partnered up with someone that's way more experienced than you, they're just going to help you out. They're not going to be like sitting there wondering what you're up to, why you're here and all that.
The people, can't beat the people around here. All very friendly, very approachable, great banter, great competitiveness, and great coaches. You know, helped me to rise up in this game.
Oh, the atmosphere, the camaraderie in the gym. It's a great atmosphere. It's a great place to come in. There's no real issues with a lot of members. Everyone kind of gets on. They train together. It's very relaxed. It's a good culture, and everyone trains really hard. So yeah, just the atmosphere in the gym and the team is a great place to be training in.
The people, love the crack and stuff. Yeah, like we can still have cracks, still get tough trainings in as well. So
the problem solving. There's so much you can do. There's so much someone can catch you with. There's so many ways to get around someone's skill set. I think that's the most interesting part of it.
Everything. Just love everything. Every aspect of it. Even my favourite parts of the stand-up, bit of wrestling. Well, not stand-up is definitely my favourite part, but I love every part of it. I love jiu-jitsu, I love wrestling. Even though if I came in every day, I could just do the stand-up. I'd do that every day, but I know I need to work on other things. But that doesn't mean I don't love it. I love the jiu-jitsu, as I said, wrestling, every aspect of MMA. Love the violence of MMA.
It's been a crucial thing for me in terms of how relaxed it's made me outside of the gym. All aspects of my life, very relaxed, don't get stressed. I'm very relaxed about a lot of things that come my way, because I can't imagine that things were way worse than having someone in the gym trying to kind of knock you out or take you down or beat into you. You've kind of got all that stress out, and then outside in the real world, it's things are very relaxed and good.
Kind of gives you a bit of perspective.
Oh, big time, big time. Thanks for that. I needed that word.
I love all of it, so I think that at the end of the day, it's probably the fights, getting the fights in and stuff.
To be honest, it can be addictive. So I suppose if that's something that you don't want to get full on stuck into, you can very much get tunnel vision like I did when I was 16 and said that's all I'm going to do. Never got a real job again.
Nothing. There's nothing I don't like about it. Nothing I don't love about it. I love the entertainment, the fighting, the people, what I've in common with. Love it all. There's nothing that I can't say bad about it.
Oh, the constant pain. Pain, mentally and physically.
It wasn't so bad until this year, but probably the injuries this year. Not just the hand, the other things. I've had kind of a bad run, so the last year or so, definitely the injuries.
Amazing. Thanks for in.
Yeah, you should be an interview.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you, Jack.
Oh,
That was very good.
That was really awkward.
Yeah, dude. How much would you fuck off, Jack? How was it?
Thank God we can edit this stuff, right?